Good evening. Welcome to Waking God's Child YouTube channel. I'm here with my co-host Candy Nelson, and we are coming to you live. Tonight we are talking about the CDC and the Center of Delusional Corruption. Need I say and remind you all, this is live action role play for entertainment purposes only due to Mr. Algo and then last name Rhythm. So I think you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, or at least I sure as heck hope so. So with that said, I'm going to start out as usual. Candy, how are you this evening?
I'm okay, but I'm just telling you, it just told me it was live, and then it said something about black helicopters overhead or something. I'm like,
That was one I
okay.
posted earlier, actually, but we are live on the channel anyway, I believe.
All right. Just want
I
to
mean,
make
I'm
sure it
looking
was,
at it live so I can read the comments.
just want to make sure it was the right title in there.
It is. Yeah, no, it's reading correctly on this end anyway. So, um, if you guys can hear us and you're joining us right now, could you please maybe just let us know in the comments that the audio is okay and that you can hear, see, and that it reads Logic Before Authorities here. Hello, Daniel. Glad to see you here this evening. Daniel, if you want to join us tonight, we would love to have you on here. And if so, just let me know and I can send you the link real quick as well. So, like I said, we've got a lot to discuss tonight. And I think, it's in the air, as we could so politely say. That in the air means, well, we know that there's something going on, right? Again, that they're talking about using the over your ear face holders once again. And again, I'm going to have to speak in coding, but again, live action role play for entertainment purposes only. And for anyone that can read between those lines, then you know, again, what we're getting at here. So with that said, we're going to start off by talking about, well, everything that gets blamed on China. I mean, and again, I think you know where I'm going with this. And
In
so what are
Mexico.
your thoughts on that?
And what is that? Iraq and the Taliban and all that juicy stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always somebody else's fault because of the situation we're in. I can't
Amen. We're
do
always
it. I
pointing
can't
fingers
do it.
at other places, anything but us, right? Daniel on Logic Before Authority says, "How about you guys join Shannon and I on the Supernatural show soon?" Daniel would love to, absolutely love to. Just let us know when, and we will be there. And again, would like to have you on as well. But absolutely, I think the collaboration of minds here could be an absolute blessing on all levels and much to share, and I think every day we learn from each other either way. There's just little bits and pieces of the puzzle that slowly get to be put together, and maybe it may not ever end up as a final piece, but the more we grow, the more we learn, the more we learn, the more we know. And I think that that's kind of the same concept that we're all working towards. And hello, Argo. Hello, Sam. Hello, James Wilson. And we also have, I think we have Sharon here. Who else do we have? Can't really read because I'm blind, pretty much blind. That's okay. Even if I was blind, I still know that the CDC stands for Center of Delusional Corruption. So, I could read that in Braille or say it in English, any other language you like. So with that said, so what we're going with here tonight, and I think this is something that should have been discussed long ago. Most of us are familiar with the fact that there's been something evil going on for many, many years. I mean, and again, if you're on this channel, any of you know that this is a channel with lots of people that suffer from Morgellons disease, or what is named and dubbed as Morgellons disease / syndrome / I think it's a small piece of the puzzle / BS / CDC, you suck / everything else. It's an agenda. It's an agenda. I think we're mixing iron with clay. This involves a transhumanism agenda, in my own personal and humble opinion. But, we went from having a mask over our face for how long, and noticing that the only stores that were open during this time were, the big ones. And boy, did they ever benefit from that, right? Prices were jacked up. they were raking in the big bucks because while everyone's home and they're social distancing, quarantine, you can't go anywhere, blah, blah, blah. Well, when you had to, you could only go to one certain place here in my town, which would be Wall to the Mart. And I'm sure all of you all can probably relate to that in your little neck of the woods or wherever you are residing. You couldn't go to your mom and pop shops. You couldn't go to, the local grocer that's, a hardworking elderly man, like in my case in my town, that, that's how they survive. Everything shut down for this. And there's a reason for that, on top of the reason for covering our faces and, in my opinion, making ourselves more ill. You can't build up immunities no matter what that way. But I mean, we're at a point where I don't think that was going to make a difference either way, whether you were around someone, near someone, not by someone, social distancing or masking up. I think that no matter what, there was something behind that. And as I still feel with this hybrid strain of influenza that's recently come out, and again, finger pointing towards China. I mean, when have we ever admitted anything is our fault? I just first and foremost would like to ask that. Anyone got something for that? Hi, Sharon. I'm just curious. You guys, can you think of one time that the good old US of A and Mrs. Liberty, who's actually a man, by the way, God with little g, it's another podcast, but can anyone think of one time that we ourselves have said, oops, sorry, that was us, our bad, my bad, sorry, unapologetically or apologetically, anything? I mean, they have not. So, Candy, you and I both in April were sick with, a very odd situation. Mine was in April with sepsis and pneumonia. Does that ring a bell to anyone with possibly what's going on right now? And we're pointing fingers at China, except for this was in April here in the USA. I mean, I'm in the hospital. I almost died. 2 weeks after that, Candy, right? 2 or 3 weeks, maybe a month after that, right? You then came down with something very similar. I'm telling you, I mean, who were we finger pointing at then, right? But yet it's China's fault. But I hate to tell you, we had it here in this country well before this whole epidemic or whatever you want to call it, dumbdemic, dumbed down demic, well before this was even a thing or what they say on the news. So I'm sorry, but I know too many people that were sick with pneumonia. But the combination of sepsis and pneumonia, that's a very unusual thing. I mean, I'm just saying. Morgellons is a very unusual thing, but not so unusual because it's been around for years. And Candy, how long have you had that again?
Well, when I looked up what they actually diagnosed me with, it was called influenza homophilus. And when I started researching that, come to find out that was something that children between the age of 3 and 5 were getting back in the 70s.
Yeah.
70s. So how do I get this now? Oh, it just absolutely made no sense to me. I'm just like, what the heck ever,
I know it's a constant, consistent, like morphing of influenza, or so they say. Or is it actually something that's been much the same and around and just kicks in whenever needed?
Well,
and
what
again,
goes up?
That transhumanism agenda as well.
Yeah, what goes up must come down. So
you betcha. I mean, and anyone that's aware and awake can clearly look up in the sky these days and see that there are some lovely, lovely little shapes of cloudage or con artist trails, because you can't say the other thing. And I assure you, they're going to put the little blurb below this video later on. Don't believe me? Go back and look, which will clarify this is this and that's that, and there's no such thing as the other. And I'm not going to say, I don't even have to, I think you guys know, but anytime that they go to correct your videos or, the word that you're trying to put out with the blurb, you know that you're on target. So I'm just saying. Yeah, right. Fact checking it, but by the way, guys, if you fact check, I get what you're trying to do, but here's just a thought. instead of fact checking something on a computer, which is, either individuals that programmed it or artificial intelligence itself, why don't you check it out yourself with your own eyes, your own ears, your own thought process, and then figure it out? Because I'll tell you what, your fact checker is probably not going to give you the truth. And when my sister told me years ago, when I first came down with what's known as Morgellons disease, she said, well, I fact checked this and they're saying it's delusional. And I'm like, well, I mean, if that's where you went with it, and you're looking at me and you're clearly seeing with your own eyeballs everything I'm experiencing, going through, and all of the elements that go with it, which are indeed bizarre and on no level of legit, from what we've been taught and told, then and you're going to fact check it, look with your eyes, see me, and then fact check that. There's a problem, Sunshine. It's a big problem.
And remember, always they would say, well, I checked snoops.com and they said this. I'm like,
oh, snoop this. I mean, right? But I mean, the truth is, for those of you that might just possibly be waking up and you're not quite aware, quite awake, or you're still in between, all you got to do is use your discernment, your God-given discernment, because it is there. You be still long enough, you listen, and the answers are there. And if you're just stuck in the middle and you don't think you get the answers, try to use your logic before authority, right? I'm just saying, right, Daniel? He knows what I'm saying, but I mean, for real. There's a reason his channel is called Logic Before Authority. Using your logic should always be first and foremost, and the authority, well, it's just that. It's the authoritative portion of this world that has programmed you, much like television programming. That's why they call it programming, for a reason. I mean, there's a message in all of it, and there's a message in your body. In my opinion, from the second you were born, the second they were whipping you out of your mom's womb and sticking you in the buttocks with a little pokey poke. I mean, I'm thinking back now, I'm like, man, I was a mother. I love my babies. I hated hearing them scream to have that. And then you got to take them back every year, this year after year, one thing after the other. And, upon my awakening to what I call the reality that's really here, I have to tell you, I think there was something to that for all of us. And Candy, we spoke of this, as well as back in your day, I guess, and my mom and dad's too had you had yours raised the other, is it smallpox vaccination?
Yes.
What was
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, that was, I think they did away with that right in the 70s, around the time I was born. But my mom and dad have that same scar. There's so many people born in that era where that was a demand, right? And Candy's recently did what? I'll let you tell them the story of that.
Well, my scar's been there for years and years, and it's very faded now. But one day, all of a sudden, I'm like, it was bothering me, and I looked over there, and right where that scar was, I had a Morgellons lesion in the very shape of the scar. I'm like, wait a daggum minute. You know what? I mean, this has been like, I would have been not even, maybe 4 or 5 years old? And I'm like, okay, we're talking about over 50 years. Why is this? It was in the very exact shape of that scar that had been there all those years. And I'm like, why? What? This is 50 years later? Why? How does this? No. So yeah, you talk about a delayed reaction. Yeah, I was pretty upset about that one.
Yeah. And I think there was something to that. I think they've been putting components into the human biological forms for quite some time, which in its own sense, I think biosensors, programming, manipulation of the human body. And I could go on and on and on about this, but it's a touchy subject and I've got to be careful. But I would like to say and repeat what Daniel on Logic Before Authority just added, which is I 100% agree. And it goes back to the symbolism. And keep in mind, guys, symbolism is a huge part of the occultist agenda. It's witchcraft, if you may, or I mean, there is reasons for these rituals, their rituals, so to speak. So, like he says, the face masks are judgment masks. In all cases, when someone covers their faces, it is a judgment shoot it stack, covers face, electrocution chair, face covered. And think about it. What he said is clearly true. It's clearly true. But then he added this, and this one should blow anyone's mind and wake anyone up, in my opinion. The face, the Bible says that Christ's face was covered when he was judged to be crucified. So true, so true. So the mask of judgment, I'm going to have to agree with that in so many ways. I mean, and also a form of submission or bowing down, or literally relenting, or I mean, if people can't see what's going on, I just don't know what to say, because there is an agenda for certain. And I was speaking about even, years ago, before the Georgia Guidestones were no longer, even talking about that then. And again, this goes back to the Freemasons, the Knights Templars, and well before that. It's back to what I always say: there is nothing new under the sun. It's not just me that actually says that, but I mean, there is nothing new under the sun. Symbolism and repetition and incantations and rituals of all kinds, and they're never ending. And it's scary, because we've all had a roller up your sleever to some respect of some sort, right? And it gets to a point where we're concerned not only, maybe for our own lives, but I know I have beautiful friends that, got this most recent one for their families, because they were so selfless that they did so for their own family's health. And, before knowing, what all might be involved with that, but even so, still being selfless with that choice. And, I came from a family that they were like, we're Christians, we'll never do that, blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, my family was the first in line the day that, sorry, I'm getting choked up as always. The day that Remedy, so-called Remedy, came out with the roller up your sleeve, my parents were there, first in line, getting it. And when I asked them why, their answer was exactly what so many are. Their church, their congregation, are made up of mainly elderly individuals. Sorry, guys. This happens every time we start talking about something pretty deep. So
take a peppermint hit.
Sorry?
Take a peppermint hit.
Thank you. I did. I did that earlier.
Yeah, I just did it.
Peppermint oil and water, guys. That's what I've been doing. Candy, I can thank for that. She actually told me about all the peppermint tricks. So with that said, they didn't want to get the elderly portion of their congregation sick. Keeping in mind that these people are in their 90s, 80s, they have lived a long and healthy life. And I guess where I was stuck with that was that we're eternal beings, right? This was just, but a short time. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not in particularly fond of this place. I wouldn't be sad if I was taken from it tomorrow. Does that mean I'm like, oh, I'm so sad, I'm depressed, I'm going to commit suicide? Absolutely not. I think I'm here for a reason. I'm here for the season. I'm here for the long run, as many of you are. But what I'm saying is, the human portion of us, we love so deeply and so much. We want to help others. We want to comply for the good, the greater good. But sometimes I think we've been completely tricked into being made to feel like that's what we must do. It's not I do feel that's exactly what's happening. So with that said, Candy, what are your thoughts on that? And I mean, it can go so many ways, but I mean, that died suddenly, that was very real. People spinning in circles, falling into like railroad tracks and dying and looking behind their shoulder like they're seeing some sort of an entity, which goes back to that zombie apocalypse that they're really pushing right now, and all these shows and movies. And I mean, come on, it's, they're doing this for a reason, right? You don't know?
Well, no, I just, there's so much going on in my head right now. Like I told you before we even came on, I'm like, this is it, just like, oh, And again, a lot of times I will go out on the Social Security Disability website to research for people that are trying to get disability that have Morgellons. They need to there's a listing of impairments. So I've been checking that for years for people. And just a couple of months ago, I went out there, I noticed that on the respiratory conditions, the skin conditions, and the mental conditions, there are several reserved slots. Why? Now, all of a sudden, okay, you're reserving slots for um, disabling conditions because you know something that's coming, you know, whether it's
Exactly.
skin, mental, or respiratory. So now, okay, now you've got new stuff to put in there that's going to qualify people for disability. Why? Like I said, I've been checking that thing for over 10 years. I've never seen reserved spots ever. Now I'm
Right.
like, "Ooh, now you got a poop ton of them. I'm
You're
sorry.
welcome.
I'm like, what the heck?
There's so much going on. Sorry guys, I did not mean to put just my own mug up there. Yeah, that happened again, didn't it? There we go. There's so much going on, and it's almost like we have to learn to read between the lines. And and I assure you, we need to read between the lines. We just had hold on, let me go back to this. And hello, Cat I Am. Also, we had Cat I Am, and then we have Dodds. Hold on, let me read this again. Dodds.
Gisbit?
Dodds Gisbit. So Dodds Gisbit says components of earlier B scenes were shown to cause at the least cancer upon later review. Yet they continue to use those additives slash riders still today. Yes, so true. When I saw that remark and that comment there, I could not agree more on that. Like that
Well,
is
and
they know what
again,
they're doing.
and again, just to remind everybody something else, there's so many lawsuits against the Roundup for these people that got sick. I mean, you're talking about one guy got $90 million, and a couple got like $84 million a piece, so, okay, well, you got all these class action lawsuits because these people were exposed to this and it caused them to get cancer, but yet it's still on the market.
Right?
So, okay, so the profit outweighs the risk of the lawsuits and all that money that they had to pay out. Your profit margin is so high that it doesn't matter. So they
Exactly.
still are allowed to keep it on the market. Why? Why? It should have been removed. That it should be banned. So
Because they
how is
care
that?
about us so much, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're only looking out for the greater good of all humanity, and we trust them. They would never, ever, ever do anything, to hurt us. Said nobody ever. Sorry, guys. My apologies.
So how are you going to pay out multiple lawsuits of
Exactly.
millions of dollars and still have something out there on the market?
Inquiring minds would like to know that. That's a darn good question.
Yeah, is that not murder? That would be murder.
I mean, it's
Premeditated
capital
murder.
murder for that
Right. It's crimes. It's
matter.
crimes
I
against
mean,
humanity. Well, it's crimes against humanity.
again, there's a reason on those Georgia Guidestones it was written maintain humanity too.
Well,
Every day, all day long, it's crimes against humanity. And that's the whole point right there. And it saddens me, and it's scary, especially so that we can't see that. I mean, I'm not saying we as in we here, because we see this, but it is as a collective human race, there's so many not catching on, not being even remotely aware. And you can show them these things all day long until you're blue in the face. You can present it, show it, you can read it forwards, backwards. put all the supporting documents and evidence with it, and they're still in this method of denial, this like cloudage of what they've been programmed to be and believe. And I was going to share, Candy, though, the fibers that goes with Morgellons, right? And that's a component as well that I believe delivers all sorts of payloads, right? So Morgellons individuals that are showing the exit of these things from their bodies. I'm just going to put it like that. Again, I've got to be careful how I say things. But I mean, these they're not so little anymore, by the way, but these little guys they're carrying a whole lot of something else with them. And if you'll bear with me for a moment, I'm going to put you back up, Candy. I'm going to try to pull up just what one of these little fibers that is the number one biggest, identification associated with the Morgellons community culprit that there is. So let me just do that really quick. Hopefully I can do this right. So
Yeah, one of my
you've had so many experiences with those fibers, like you said last week,
Yeah, and the nodules. Oh my gosh. I had one of the nodules that came out of me that clearly had the number 38 on it.
Yeah. And we've read so many things. So many of us have clear writing or symbolism on these things that come out of our bodies that literally have scripts on them. It's the strangest thing. And
did you see that thing that came out of my leg that had the like hieroglyphics on it? It looked like a newspaper.
Yeah, you and I both remember we both had something similar. Yeah, I think I might have that photo still of yours and mine. Let me see what I can find here.
Have mercy, man.
It's bizarre. But at the end of the day, I mean, Satan is ever so present. But you got to remember, he's the ruler and the leader and the principalities of evil here in the air and on earth. And he's going to come to you, though, like an angel of light. He's very misleading. So, which I think is a CD to the what? C. There's so many things going on that could just really be deceiving to those that aren't using their true discernment. And if you just try to listen, the discernment's there. You were born with it. The living word of God lives within each of you. All of his whole being is within you. If you've invited him in, well, he hasn't left. All right.
It looked like something out of a puzzle book. Like a page out of a puzzle book. But the writing on it was like nothing that you could comprehend logically what was on there. But it was obviously some type of foreign writing or some alien type of writing. I don't have a clue.
I'm putting your sewing machine fiber up real quick again. Yeah. In the meantime. So you want to go ahead and explain to those that haven't seen this yet what was going on here?
Well, I was trying to sew, but while I was trying to sew, the thread was literally like attacking my hands, like it was a snake type action, and I was like, this is crazy. I'm like, and I don't know if you can see my fingers that well, but I was pretty broke out with lesions and stuff all over my hands at that time, but it was really coming after me big time. But I'm like, so I said, I got to videotape this. And of course, everybody that was like, oh, well, not in the know. It's like, oh, well, that's just static electricity. No, static don't attack you like that.
Yeah.
It was literally attacking me.
Yeah, it was. Here's the other thought too, guys. I told you I have a video camera or webcam outside on my front porch. And there was a day whenever I literally looked out and re-looked at the webcam footage, and there's this large planetary. Wow, this is not working. What the heck is going on? So I'm trying to show you this planetary object. So where I'm going with this is it wormwood? Is it Nibiru? we have entered into, in my own opinion, a pole shift. Everything has shifted. I mean, the moon, anyone that has looked at that lately is not even in the correct position, and it was even more off not long ago. We won't even go with the sun, and it's unnatural color at this point. But hold on, guys, I'm still trying to. Yeah, this is bizarre to me that I always try to get these things up and not wanting to happen. I'm going to try this one more time. So, are these things, these viruses? I mean, I do believe that there's a man-made portion, or maybe a witchcraft type portion that might be involved. But I think we've got a planetary object and maybe several others, meteorite and all sorts of debris coming towards our Earth. Do I know this for sure? No, but can you look outside, or can you see the weather and how it is now, and can you get a clue about what might be happening? 100%, I believe that there's something going on up there. I don't claim to have the answers. I never will have the answers, but what I can tell you is that there is something going on up there. Hold on, guys. I'm still trying. This is ridiculous. Like every time I try to go to show this stuff. Oh, it looks like your video file doesn't have a video. Really? Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. Yeah, because I'm trying to show it. It's funny. We can show certain things, but I mean, I'll be dang if we're going to get to show, the good stuff. I'm going to get it on here either way. So, Candy, I don't know if you've got something to add to those thoughts or any thought. I'm not going to give up on this right now. I'm going to make sure that we present this. So, with that said, just bear with me, because I'll be darned if the more they say no, the harder I go. That's all I can say. They just, you can't stop this girl. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So with that said, hold on, guys. All right, I'm still doing my best, but like I said, Candy, you've noticed too. Have you noticed that the fiber-looking things that sometimes we might see in our bodies? Have you ever seen that kind of stuff in the sky? I mean, remember the day you said there was those Kim webs all through the yard? That experience.
Oh yeah, well, I can't even tell you. Like, I'm in Florida, so of course we have a lot of hurricanes here. One time we evacuated, come back. My husband went to work, so I decided to drive around the neighborhood. And I'm in farm country, so, in the woods, lots of farms around me. I drove around the neighborhood and could not believe the webbing that was just, everything was
Everywhere,
completely
yeah.
saturated. From telephone pole to telephone pole, it was just hanging literally everywhere. And so, again, I think a lot of times with these man-made weather conditions that we get, and so right before we have a big hurricane, there's lots of sky demons.
Yeah, that's a good way to
And so
talk about that one for sure.
they're like, they pee all over the sky.
Yeah, literally.
Whatever. But
they mark their territory, to say the least.
And the whole sky is completely covered. This is like a week prior to a big storm that's coming. Then when the storm comes, guess what? What goes up
must come
down in the rain. The rain just washes it right down all over everything. So
I mean, that's a true statement right there. I mean, I don't know, like, there's so many people like my dad. I'm like, look up, just look up. All you got to do is look up. I mean, you're not understanding the weather, this or that. You want the answers. Well, number one, it is logic before authority. But number two, discernment. Discernment's still there. But, we've been programmed to not be thinking about. I know we're capable, but not thinking to tap into that, which... it's sad.
And again, I asked my doctor, I'm like, how did I acquire influenza homophilius from something that was happening to children in the 70s between the ages of 3 and 5? And he's like, there's all kinds of stuff in our food and our air these days. Ain't no telling where you got it
Yeah,
from.
that's the only excuse or, what they have to offer, which here's the deal. Say that's true. There's all sorts of things. What happened to you that you became this doctor? You took an oath, first do no harm. What happened to you that you suddenly just decided to just accept that there's stuff in the air and all sorts of things, and you're going to just live with that instead of getting to the bottom of it? I mean, what's the matter with people? They just accept this, that, and the other. No, I understand, and I get that there is a process and there's cycles for things. But when the cycle becomes an upheaval, you would think, especially a doctor that's getting paid pretty dang good money to do their
Well,
job, you would
in
think
his
that they
in
might.
his in his defense, he tells me a lot of things, but he speaks in codes, okay? So yeah,
Well,
he's
and
got
I think
eyes
they
for
have
religion.
to, and that's kind of what I was getting at. They
Yeah,
have to be very careful with,
he,
what
so,
they
yeah,
say, what they do.
he knows what time of day it is. He knows what's going on. But again, he speaks in codes. I get what he's saying. I get why he speaks in codes and why he has to say the things the way he does. So
Yeah.
I'm good with that because, I mean, like I said, he's been amazing. He's saved my life. I can't even begin to tell you how grateful to God I am that, that man is in my life. So that's all I can say about that.
Yeah, I mean they're few and far between, and at the end of the day, if he does go further than that and look into it any more than that, then he'll lose his license, and we need people like him around, which is very important. So yeah, you
Well,
guys, this is funny. I have tried several different times. It's not funny. It's actually normal to present this, what I was talking about, and actually I tried other ones too, and it always works like this. Like they just really refuse to let you, you know to let you share anything. So I'm going
yeah.
to try by doing I'm going to share my whole screen.
And
And
again, just to remind people too, how long have they told us? How many years have they told us? These DNA tests, they take months. You don't get the results back overnight. So guess what? Yeah, I'm in the hospital. They can't figure out what the heck's wrong with me. My doctor comes in, runs my DNA, and has the results back in an hour to say exactly what was wrong with me and save my life. Because so how can you sit here and try to convince people that it takes months to get DNA results back, and then now you got this rapid DNA that you get the results back in an hour, but they're advertising it for criminal purposes and not for medical diagnoses? Well,
exactly.
again, I can't even imagine how much uh, butt he lost getting his butt chewed on that one, but he did it. Oh
Yeah,
God.
I mean that's so true. You guys bear with me. This is ridiculous. I'm actually sharing the screen, but it's not sharing. I actually shared the whole computer screen, and to no avail. So still not giving up. It's ridiculous though. I mean, we are belittled, put down for everything that we know for a fact is going on, right? We know, we see it, we live it, we go through it, we do it alone for the most part. We're all at opposite ends of the earth. And they're just kind of, not your doctor, but the other ones like completely shutting their eyes. And again, I've said before, when your own family does this to you, not just doctors, not just, friends, not just loved ones, your whole family, when the whole entire world evacuates your life immediately, the second you say Morgellons or any component involved with it, everybody leaves like clockwork. And they keep in the mind, we're in the millions of those reporting the symptoms of it, okay, which basically our bodies are getting rid of the poisons, which is in my opinion why we're awake. All the things that's dumbed us down all those years, we are now spitting out because our bodies know it shouldn't be there, should not be there, doesn't go, not God-given components to a human form. And wow, it is very loud thundering outside. That's bizarre. I didn't know we had a storm over us. But like I said, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that there is an operating system inside the human body that is, I mean, we know MK Ultra was real, right? When Kennedy was in office. And I mean, this goes even further than that, but it's neither here nor there. AI is real. Nanotech is real. You breathe the air, you eat the food, you drink the water. It's impossible to live without any of those components or elements. So I guess what I'm getting at is if you breathe in a nanoparticulate, it could be software, right? I mean, it could be. To me, that's the only explanation for every single human in the world acting as they do. Rejecting us, we become alone in our own little portions of the world. We have nobody. We're abandoned. Where once, in my case, I had a good, loving, wonderful family. And there's many others, that didn't. But I mean, you start to believe and think your family is out to get you. They're setting you up or whatever it may be. But the truest portion of this is it's like clockwork. It's like clockwork with all of us. And that is not a coincidence. It's just not. Candy, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, and I was just talking to my husband a few days ago. I got so upset because, I mean, I have a voice, I have support finally, but I didn't always have it. And like I told you, it's like my daughter, the one that apologized to me for how she treated me for all those years.
Right.
When I finally asked her, I said, I never lied to you guys. What would make you think I would lie about all this? I said, did you ever
It's
even believe me?
never
she
told
said,
a lie in our lives, right?
yeah. And she said, when I asked her if she ever even believed me, she's like, well, I was on the fence. And I told my husband, I
How
said,
could you be
"I-
on the fence? I
yeah,
raised you,
yeah.
right?
Not only that, it's like, I can't even tell you how many videos I sent her with fibers pouring out of my body, and I'm like, did you watch it? Did you watch it? No, I didn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. I didn't watch it. But okay, you couldn't watch it, but yet you were on the fence about something you never even watched. You can't even, I
It is
just,
the most bizarre behavior I've ever seen in my life.
yeah,
I mean, we're normal, upstanding citizens. We, do go through the motions like everyone else, except for some of us are now awakened to our realities. But the second we speak out about what we know or what we're aware of, we become blacklisted by our own children, by our own families, by our own friends. Everyone
my,
up and they leave and they vacate. And that is the strangest thing that I still to this day have the hardest time wrapping my mind around. I had a mom that believed it, saw it, my daughter too. One of my daughters, my other ones lived away. But they refused to speak up. They refused
fight
to
for you. When you fight for them
they
so
literally let
hard.
me be taken away. I'll never forget. My mom sat there with her lips buttoned up. My daughter sat there with her lips buttoned up. They allowed these people to come in to the home, take me physically away, and never said a word. Yet they've seen it, they knew it, they watched it in horror, but never said a word and let that evilness happen. And tell me, how can someone take you away for 3 days, drug you up, to where they're supposedly evaluating your mental health, right? But if you're drugged up and you're just laying in a bed drooling and probably crapping yourself or whatever else, okay, that was maybe exaggerated. But you get my drift. How can there be any type of psychological evaluation first and foremost, right? If that were in fact the case and that's what they took you for, they're like, oh, she's loopy. Let's go evaluate her mental, status. Let's see where she's at there on that thinking. What's gone on with her brain? If they drug you up and they put you in a bed and they leave you there for 3 days doing nothing, and then the day that they skip the dose so that you can come to and leave on that third day because, well, that's kind of how it works. And they say, well, if you promise to never talk about this again, you can go home. Tell me how that, first of all, how's that facility making money off of something they're supposed to be helping, right? But number two, you're not delusional. You get taken, all of your human rights are completely stripped. You want a Pepsi? You can't have one. You want a Snickers bar? You can't have one. You want just a simple cup of tea with a little honey? Nope, not on their watch. I mean, the thing is, everything that you could ever do before like your entire right to just be a human is stripped away for just speaking the truth, and you have all the evidence, the video proof, the everything you can imagine to fight the good fight in a court of law, everything that you could present that is a no-fail situation. But yet you can be locked up, put away, have a young child who's like has a play that night looking in the crowd, where's my mommy? Mommy's not here. And then the family like, oh, well, don't worry about her. And then, all I can think is nobody cared. I'm like, did anyone
Yeah.
call to check on me? No. Like,
And think
who do I call
about
to come get me? That's weird behavior, right?
and think about this too. How many of us have had in our minds 1,001 times, oh my God, I'm so sick, I feel like I'm going to die. But guess what? I'm not going to the ER. There's no way in hell
I
I'm going.
refuse. I just that you know me. 2 weeks ago, my whole organ shut down. I wouldn't go.
Yeah, the treatment that we receive, we get in our minds that there's such a mistrust
Because
in
they're
these
our enemy.
systems.
Texas, they're our enemy. So I
We
don't
would
have any
rather
doctors.
die. We would rather sit here and die and gag on our own Morgellons crap rather than go.
I've been willing to die any time other than ever go back to a hospital or a doctor again.
Well, it's like you told me
I
I
don't
didn't
trust
want to
them, and
go.
I'd rather be with my Lord anyway. So
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to go, and you told me you was like, okay, if you don't go,
yeah, and I knew the
flying
world
out.
needs you though. That's why.
Yeah, because I would have rather died. I can't even wrap my mind around the mistreatment. And then, like I told you, when I got there, the ER doctor,
in there? Are you serious?
you know,
Oh, I got one to play. Wow, that's weird.
Dog sees it.
yeah, the ER doctor
What
comes
the
in, and
heck,
I'm
man?
telling him, you need to culture this mucus. Oh,
Yeah, it's
well,
not time to
you
go
got a
in, I
history of
think.
smoking, and you got
Something's out there in
underlying
my
chronic health
trees.
conditions, so there you go. And
No, it's
Yeah,
blew me off.
not there anymore. Nope, he's
always
like,
something.
He's hiding.
I'm
how?
sorry, guys, and I'm sorry. I can't believe I even got something to play. And no, this has nothing to do with the illness is going on, but it does actually have something a little bit to do because, well, those of us who wake up for whatever reason, whether it was Morgellons or an illness or just hitting rock bottom, and all of a sudden you're jolted into awakening, start seeing things like this in the sky. This was back when my dog was still alive, which I'm going to cry because I miss her so much. But I mean, the dog, you pay attention to your animals. Your animals know, they sense, they see. You guys can clearly see this is not right.
Heck, man.
It's funny though, it's letting this play. And this was back 2018, I believe.
It's not time to go in, I think.
Oh, no, this was here.
Something's out there in my trees.
This was a recent one, but I mean, many can relate. Wherever you go, these things follow. And that's one thing I've experienced. These things in the sky, whatever they may be, whether, it's man-made, God-made, evil-made, I don't know. I don't get a very good feeling around them. But they seem to literally almost stalk your life, follow you everywhere. It's the strangest thing. It's one thing I know, and I'm sorry, that wasn't actually what I was trying to get up. I was just clicking on anything that might play, and got one thing to play, guys. But yeah, I mean, and we got a lot of comments here, Candy, also from different people, and Sharon's always so sweet. Sorry, I didn't mean to click off of that. She's like, so sorry. Or doctors are so sorry I went through that, Lisa. And Sharon has, just like we have. They resisted listening, and she is one of the most loving people I know. I mean, like, she literally, sacrificed herself, kind of, in my opinion, for her own parents. And there's just no greater love, no greater love. And then we have, can you read that? Can you see that okay, Candy? We have David here, or I'm sorry, Todd Gibbons.
They're like, the comments are
David
coming
Gibbons?
in. It's like jumbled, and then they keep mixing them up. And so I see one, and then I see another one, and then I see the one that I seen before 5 minutes ago. So my comments are not, it's funky. I'm sorry. I can't help you.
Well, and we know where the funkiness comes from. I mean, they want to keep it all changed up and all turned up all the time because, again, this thing is strategically planned. I mean, to make us look crazy, to kind of, it's like, it's a catch-22. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, so to speak. in my most humble opinion, but I mean, I'm right, so you're welcome. I'm just kidding, but I'm not really. But yeah, there's a lot, guys, a lot. Let me see if I can get this other, no, see, it always says, whoops, looks like your video chat. And what I'm trying to show you is important. And I spent 5 days to get that from here onto this computer. 5 days. It kept not. It would not go to Dropbox, would not save, would not, nothing. Finally got it to. And now it's just like, oops, sorry, can't show you. And there's a reason, because I'm telling you what I literally could show you right now would blow your mind. And it goes back to the things that I was talking about with what's in the sky. And is this a contribution to some of these illnesses, to some respect? So, and it's not wanting to play. And usually when this happens, it's like, I know that I'm showing something they don't want to be seen. But I'll be damned, because I'm going to get this scene, and I'm going to keep trying and trying and trying. So as long as we're on here, Kenny, I'm going to keep trying. So if you have something to add, I mean, I'm not giving up. I'm stubborn like that.
How does the general public not become outraged and march and protest? Well, because they don't even
do it in every other country. If you were in the UK, that'd be happening, right?
Well, but and under a microscope, our food squirms with fibers. Our air samples squirm. Well, we get that. We know that. We see that. But they refuse to look.
They refuse to look, yes.
Yeah, if they don't look or acknowledge that it exists, then there's nothing to be angry about. And it's like, okay, you choose to walk around with rose-colored glasses on because you can't handle the truth.
It is aggravating, though, the human portion. It is hurtful, especially when you're all alone and you have nobody.
Yeah, you want to tell me that I don't need to talk about it, or I need to shut up?
Yeah, exactly, right?
No.
It's like, I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't get to tell me because you refuse to look. And I was so happy, I told you, my oldest daughter told me the other day, she's like, Mom, she's like, I just wanted to let you know. She's like, you're my best friend. She's like, you're my only friend. And so we talked about Morgellons a little bit. And she said to me, she's like, Mom, she said, you know what? Your truth is your truth. And she said, and if I love you, I'm going to support your truth. I might not agree.
I think that's the one and only story I've ever heard of anyone's family member ever saying anything so kind, loving, and supportive to someone like us. That's amazing. Like, what a wonderful young lady. Like, wow, just wow.
And, she just had to rent a new place, and she deliberately made sure she got one that I didn't have to climb the stairs. So it's first level.
Yeah, my girls could care less if I fall up the stairs, fall down the stairs, whatever. They'll let me carry every last grocery, every last bag, everything up. No problem. But they love me, So yeah, whatever.
And she calls me like almost every day now.
I think that's awesome. But you know what? You went through so many years of this battle.
Yeah.
You deserve to be heard, and it is about dang time. So thank goodness. I'm so happy that she has listened and she appreciates you, because I mean, we've all spent our lives pouring our hearts and soul into the people we love and care about.
That's the one you met.
Selflessly, right?
That's the one that brought me to your house.
She is, and I met her. She is an amazing young woman. So amazing. Definitely a blessing. I can't even tell you. I loved her from the moment. The fact that she took you here and dropped you was quite amazing.
It's kind of funny. She's like, Mom, she's like, I'm going to California. Is there any of your Morgellons friends you want to see along the way? I was like, yeah.
I mean, it was so cool because I never got, you were, the first. Like, I never even dreamed I would get to meet someone else going through the same experiences and dealing with what we have. It was amazing. That's all I can say. What the heck is going on? My computer once again says, whoops, it looks like your video file doesn't have a video track. Really? My Caucasian American buttocks. It does not. It totally does. Hello, Jaden. New guy here. Love him to death. Wonderful person. God bless everyone that's been silenced. Amen to that one, right? Thank you for being here. You know what? I'm going to show you from my cell phone. No, it's not the perfect way to show it, but I'm going to do it because this thing is really ridiculous. I just had this video up, actually several of them, prior to getting on this. And you saw one. It easily let me show you that one, right? But it's just completely like, whoops. It looks like your video file. It's not. It doesn't have a video track. First of all, what does that mean, video track? I mean, clearly it's on there. Just looked at it. I mean, was it like a choo-choo train? It's got to be on a track. I mean, shut up already. You're making me angry. Yeah, that's the human part, but no worries. I got this. So, all right. Let's see if this is the one. I mean, there's lots of ones, but so I was telling you, Candy, how, and I showed a portion of it last week where there was the moon. And there's supposedly Jupiter. It's the brightest, looking bright light in the sky that there is, which I also used, your little star finder, whatever, your star constellation finder, which also said and indicated it was Jupiter. And even if it wasn't Jupiter and say it was Saturn, Venus, Uranus, or Pluto, or any other toe, just tell me how on God's green earth that it could do. Hold on a second.
It's not picking up like it actually looks.
Okay, that's not it. That's awesome. So yeah, that just happened again. Okay, guys, I swear this is just so aggravating. Oh, by the way, there's your what a standard Morgellons fiber looks like. It's almost like a wire, but each little segmented portion of that, I believe, has some sort of compatible component or data, transmitter payload, so to speak.
Hey, I wish you could show them those two pictures I sent you of my friends. Look.
I can.
Oh,
I
I'm like,
can do that.
my God. I'm so
okay,
angry.
so you booby tube might kick me off and call it gory graphic, blah, blah, blah. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, we're going to say that first. Everything we do here is just live action role play. Nothing we're presenting is real. It's fake. It's anime, whatever you want to call it. But here we go. This is what we go through, guys. And this is one of our suffering people that we love. And Candy knows very well that's going through this. So hold on just a second. So this is her lip. You guys see that, right? Clearly?
Yeah.
You tell me on what level that's okay to happen coming out of your lip, all right?
Show the other one.
Come out all over our bodies, but bless her heart, guys. Okay, on her lip. Like we have this, all over happening to so many of us. Do you guys see that nonsense? Tell me how that's okay. I mean, the suffering is just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And that's delusional? Anyway, how is this delusional? First and foremost,
Self-inflicted?
I mean, it just blows my mind that a doctor can clearly look at a body and see it's maimed and destroyed and ruined and hurt and just be like, oh, I'm gonna hear some psycho drugs and there's a crazy house right down there. Glad you came in today. I did nothing for you. And in fact, I refused to look. You showed me that you had a video. I wouldn't look at that either. You also brought in some, little things that we could test, but we didn't want to do that either. But here's a script and there's the referral and that crazy house. It's that way. And if you need an Uber, don't worry about it. The police will pick you up and just take you away unwillingly, and you're welcome. And I wish I could say that was exaggerated. I wish I could say I just exaggerated that, but I did not. That is the truest story and something that I myself went through. And my daughter was young at the time, lead play role. And like I said, to have your human rights taken away, just to be a mother, a good mother, upstanding citizen, taxpayer, everything else. But you happen to have something that doesn't fit the bill. CDC, you are So corrupt. And I know because I sat in the CDC in Houston, Texas for 17 hours. And this is where and when and that happened. So when I say that this is a center of delusional corruption, there you go. It's exactly that.
And you know what? Don't even get me started on these ignorant people that think
They're
for
so
1
ignorant.
minute that the CDC is ever going to recognize Morgellons
Well,
disease.
no, they're the culprits. Hello.
Exactly. And
They
not
are
only that,
they're part of the elitist, the agendas, the agenda that's being pushed. They are the occultists through and through. There's no doubt about it.
and not only that, if they deny what's obviously true, which we can all prove because we have plenty of photos and videos and we're all over the world and covered in the United States, why on God's green earth would you believe anything they have to say if they deny?
Thank you. Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah. Oh,
I know. I mean, and Candy and I talked about this before we came on tonight because we knew that it was going
gonna
to
be
be
touchy.
difficult talking about this.
Yeah, it makes
Without
me
them, to
angry
say the least.
when
So
I saw my friend's lip, and I'm like, how in the living he double hockey sticks can anybody believe anything, any
they say,
recommendations or any information or any test or anything
yep.
when you can't even have any human compassion? You have none.
It's
Zilch.
sad. It's sad. It's so sad.
And you don't care about really what's going on. You just care about lining your pockets and being in control and having the power over people.
Exactly.
Oh God, I can't
It's
even.
disgusting. It really is.
Mm,
And I'm still
I'm
toiling
sorry.
away
I
here
get so bad. I get so bad.
trying to get this to share. Sorry, guys. I'm still trying. I refuse to give up. But it's funny. I told you I'll share it through my phone. Just do what I do with those others. It still will not now come up on my phone either. So that's how what I have on footage right now. They're trying to make darn sure that I don't show it. Basically, what I'm going to show you, and I told you guys last week and showed you just a tiny snippet. I finally got it all downloaded, which Jupiter and Saturn, the moon, the sun is not 100% not at all what they say they are. I've known this, I've been saying this, but I mean, now it's just undeniable. It's at the point of undeniable. But the most mind blowing thing is the fact that I can't get it to play at all. So I'm going to try again one more time here. If not, though, stay tuned because I will put a video out. I've been trying for a while. Let's see if this works. Hold on a second. All right, guys, bear with me.
I'm gonna run to the restroom.
Go ahead. Okay, hold on. Let's see if this works like this. No? Yeah, no. Are you kidding me? All right, so this is ridiculous. So this is supposedly Jupiter, guys, by the sun. Sorry for the glare. This is. I can't believe I can't just share it normally. Really? All right, guys. Sorry, I'm trying. This is so ridiculous right now. Just look at Jupiter and tell me, is that Jupiter? Sorry for the glare. Don't want the glare on there. Okay, now watch this. This Jupiter has a mechanical attachment to it. There you go.
I knew it. Something on you.
By the way, the moon has the same thing, and now the new sun has the same thing. That is a mechanical attachment. I don't care what anyone says. That's supposedly Jupiter, and it looks like a spoon. I mean, and this is not the first time I've discovered this. I've seen this so many times. And just with my Sony 4K Handycam video camcorder that I use for my investigations. So, yeah, basically that. And that sucked as far as the video goes, but I'll be darned. It's also on this computer, but it's not going to let me share it. but I will get the whole video out there to you guys. But come on, you can't say that's not mind-blowing. And again, what's above us? I mean, is this the Truman Show? Is it? I mean, are we in the Matrix? Are we dead? Are we alive? Are we puppets? Are we real? I mean, I know all these things go through everyone's head. I mean, I think it's just it's deception through and through. But what's above us right now, I don't believe is the same thing that used to be above us. Whether it's awake or not, the sky used to be a heck of a lot further away, in my opinion. And the things I see now, and I'm sorry, that's Jupiter, okay? What is on Jupiter? And you guys have seen my videos with the stars and something hugging those stars and squeezing the life out of them. And you've seen my video on Venus with the same thing that you just saw on Jupiter, except for going out both sides of it, kind of resembling a satellite, but it wasn't. It was actually Jupiter. I mean, come on, guys. There's so much going on. And if we just paid attention to everything around us and don't just go outside and don't look up, look down, look around, look at your trees, look at your animals, look at your plants, look at everything. Everything's changing on so many levels. And I don't know if it's due to frequency or vibrational frequencies or electromagnetic situations or, just, puppeteers. And I'm kind of leading towards that one. Again, Satan comes to us as an angel of light and he's very deceptive. But when you're zooming in with a video camcorder, first of all, guys, I want to point out the sun is 93 million miles away. The moon is about half that distance, miles away. How is it that you can take a video camcorder and I can zoom in and see the complete surface of the moon? I can see the sun and its eruptions. I can see everything going on that moon with my little, video camcorder. I'm sorry, but if I'm doing the math, 93 million miles away with my video camera, shouldn't even put a dent in how I'm viewing it. It would still look the same because that's 93 million miles away, and the best video camera that they make can only zoom in about approximately 70 miles and get clarity. And Nikon P1000, for instance, can only go about 40 something miles. 93 million miles away, guys. The moon, less than that, whatever. I don't care if it's 5,000 miles away. The point being is, or Jupiter, hello. I'm getting something on camera that shouldn't even be capable of being picked up. That's just some food for thought, but I think that up there, everything up there is a hell of a lot closer than what it looks. And sorry for the hell word, but yeah, I kind of mean that. Hello, Denise. Candy, Denise made it.
Hi.
So, yeah, and Connie, I agree. They're bellowing out fungus. Half the clouds you're seeing in the sky now are like candida. They're shapes like candida. There's fungus all up there, all down here, all over, and it's just an educated guess on my portion and probably Connie's, but there's something going on. Graphene, she put nanotubes, graphene, viruses, bacteria, etc. Yeah, upstairs in our sky. So with that said, we didn't really have a whole presentation put together tonight. Mainly just wanted to point out the fact that, obviously there's something big going on and it seems like it just gets bigger every day and there's always a hybrid something going on that's, causing an uproar in the human race. And with good reason.
I was just running on pure adrenaline. I was so mad, I'm like.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, it's sad. It's sad. I mean, this center of delusional corruption should know better. And it certainly isn't looking out for our best interests on any level. And I think that's the most shocking part of all is, well, just that. So anyways, Candy, would you like to add anything else before we close out here tonight? And guys, if I didn't get to your comments, I'm sorry. I'm trying. I'm literally all over the page tonight too. It's been a stressful week. It's actually been a stressful life, but nothing we can't handle, right?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm about to lose my nuggies on. I've been so upset. I try to not get myself into that negative state, but
It's
I
fine.
saw my friends' pictures, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is just awful. What the hell is wrong with people?
It's
I don't
ridiculous
get
and hard, and I don't
how
know.
can
There's
you treat
just
people so badly when they're, you know, obviously, I mean, whether you believe me or not, I'm obviously going through physical pain, and you can visually
nobody should
see.
have to go through that.
Yeah, but yet no compassion, none, none, none.
No, that's the worst part of all. That is so weird. Get this. Okay, so now it looks like maybe it's going to put this up. I don't know. I don't know what's going on here, guys. I kind of give up, but long story short, you always know when you're on to the truth or close to it by them not allowing you to put or putting that little thing, a little blurb right below your video saying con artist trails, water vapor emerging from the back hole of an airplane, whatever they say, right? And not to be mistaken with, Kim McDaniel trails. Again, code wording, but I've been like booted off. I've been censorship has been a huge deal. They've closed my channel. I've started all over, up, down, yonder, and the other, because I say things that they don't like, but never anything bad, just speaking the truth. We have people on here saying, I have been abducted by aliens and probed in the buttocks and taken to Mars and went around the moon, blah, blah, blah. Or Bigfoot was there and, he stuck his tongue in my ear. I don't care what it is. Everything else is allowed on YouTube. Everything. You can say anything and by the way, I'm not dissing those things because I think that they're real things. I think, but it's all one thing, and that's a whole different podcast. But what I'm saying is when you call it out for exactly what it is, that's when they're going to say, but no, you didn't. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to see leak projects on there talking about literally everything, Anunnaki and this, that, and the other. But you start talking the truth and you're going to be called out real quick and made to look delusional and crazy. Where the Loch Ness Monster people, they're fine. This, that, and the other is fine. The alien people and the alien agenda, that's fine. That can be kept on YouTube or any other social media, content. But you talk about things coming from up there and falling down and making the human race sick. You can't do that. You can't even say that they are just evaporating contrails because they'll still go ahead and reiterate contrails. So just pay attention, guys, because read between the lines when they're trying hard to do something so stupid for something so little other than truthful. There's a reason for it. There is a reason for it. So with that said, I'm going to say goodnight to all of you. Send my love out to all of you, and thank you for all of your courage and your strength, because you are all warriors, in my opinion. And Candy, of course, that's how I feel about you. Sam, Connie, Dodds Gibbs or Gisbit, Dodds Gisbit. Kind of like that. It's catchy, but it's hard to say, especially when you're blonde. And Kat, love you, love you. All of you guys, everyone here, Denise. Am I missing? Who am I missing?
Invaded here. An
What's
alien
that?
abduction. I said I'm being
Argo is here
invaded.
too, but I don't see him on the comment. And Jaden, 0905 is here. Thank you, thank you. I don't know. All of you guys, just don't forget. You guys are such warriors, so loved. Logic before authority. You already know. We need to get together soon. I think we can put a big old dent in a lot of things in many ways, which is why we're here. We're here to make noise, and we're here for a reason. And I know you know that. We all know this for the most part. Just if we could just let the rest of the world wake up and hear it. And Sharon, 100% love you so, so much. I don't know why I didn't see. I thought Argo was on here, but I don't see him. So Argo, if you were, we love you. He's always an amazing individual. And this little kitty went to market here, getting ready to go night night. So, all right, guys, stay tuned. I am going to put Jupiter out. Literally, they're not going to stop me. I literally am always just amazed, though, how hard it is to put anything on there on that level. Because for 3 days, I fought and fought to get it up there. Finally got it. Just like last week, tried, it wouldn't. But now it won't go on again. Go figure. All right, Candy, you all right?
Yeah, just I just don't
That whole
like
topic.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. I got to get my head right again.
Yeah, you guys, we actually, when Candy and I talked earlier before going on, this topic in general is the hardest thing for, especially when you're in this community of the Morgellons and the friends watching, that are suffering, and yourself, and it is the hardest, most aggravating topic, and to keep a good level head, to say the least, is nothing short of a miracle. And Candy, we managed to do so tonight, but it was important that you guys know and see, and you saw the photos of our friend with her lips, and you guys, this is not okay. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. The sepsis and pneumonia isn't acceptable, which started here, by gosh, not in China. I don't care what they say. USA, stop pointing the finger at everybody else but yourselves. You are an occultist, literally an occultist leadership. I don't care what you say. Everyone's like, you're not proud to be American? No, I'm not proud anymore. I'm not proud of this nonsense and all the lies and corruption. Nope, I'm not. I have too much love for our fellow humans from every bit of an inch of this earth. So people before leadership, and logic before authority.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Love you. Love you, Candy. I hope you get some rest this weekend. Denise, I hope you feel better. Kat, glad to see you. Logic, Daniel, love you. See you guys soon, okay?
All right, good night, everybody.
All right. See you later, Gators. Bye.